I'm Shawnee, and whenever I want to listen to something profound and I'm having a moment, I go to GoPro Radio, the fastest growing network in the galaxy.
Welcome, Earthlings, to another exciting episode of the GoPro Radio Revolutionary Party with your host, Tyler, with his co-host, Sheree, and very special co-host, Lakota, with music provided by the Paradise Brothers. Special game show host, Lulu. Get up, dance, party, or sit back and relax to the GoPro Radio Revolutionary Party filled with fun, laughs, games, and you. Yes, yes, yes. Don't worship me. You can sit down now. Yes, you can relax. It's okay.
All right, party people in a place to be. Welcome to the GoPro Radio Revolutionary Party. I am your host, Tyler, New Savior, Washington. Man, and it's such a beautiful day today. I think a lot of people are out. That's why I think people are loading in a little late today, because we got in New York City, we got to 80 degrees in some places here in New York City. But anyway, GoPro Radio Revolutionary Party, Friday, March 26th. And we're at meeting ID 875-8028-5536. That's 875-8028-5536. And the meeting password is always love, capital L-O-V-E, because that's what we do here, right? Love. We got to love us. And we're not in danger of having too much love in this world. And I'm really super excited about today's show. Today's lineup is super awesome. If I must say, we have two wonderful guests that I'm extremely excited about. We have Sister Sheree Renee Thomas in the house, speculative fiction writer, Marvel's Black Panther. Give her thumbs up, applause. You know how to do it here. And then we also have, of course, Twin Powers activated, my wonderful twin sister, award-winning New York City principal is in the house. So yeah, we're going to be meeting up with them a little bit later on, and we're going to have some discussions, so it's going to be really, really exciting. So sit back, relax, enjoy. I mean, this is the one party where you don't have to worry about hand sanitizers, social distancing, rules, mask. Matter of fact, you can join this meeting with no pants. This is one of those kind of parties. Yes, you can tell your friends, I went to a party where pants weren't even required. Okay, everybody, I hope everybody's had a wonderful week, a fantastic week. I know I have. Let me just acknowledge a few folks. So, without further ado, let's give a warm GoPro Radio applause for and welcome to Miss Sheree Renee Thomas. Thank you for coming here. You know what? I like your setup. I like the books in the back. That's awesome. I think you're awesome. So I'm so grateful that you agreed to do this, because I know that you're doing so many things. You want to start with first introducing some of your people that you brought in and some of your co-writers?
I try to never travel alone. I always bring friends and family with me. So I have two of my closest friends and collaborators. I have Danian Jerry.
Wow.
Hello. Hello. Introduce yourself, Danian, or I'll introduce Danian.
Okay.
Mute yourself, Danian.
Hello.
Great.
Yay.
Yeah. Danian Jerry is Memphis author as well, published in Fireside Fiction, Boy with the Golden Arm. He has a wonderful way of exploring technology and hip hop music. So, and also his work that inspires people of all ages, particularly young people. So if you've got a young reader who you think is reluctant to read work, you should send them to Danian Jerry's work.
Wow.
He's also a fellow contributor in Marvel's Black Panther, Tales of Wakanda, which is their first all prose anthology for the Black Panther. So it's a groundbreaking collection that
Mm.
came out. He's one of 4 Memphians. So, we're pretty excited about this. He has been reading Black Panther since he was a kid. I, couldn't get to the comic book store, so I had to do it later. And he's also a fiction editor for Obsidian, Literature and Arts in the African Diaspora. And we have just, closed the submissions portal for our HBCU issue. So that's Danian. He's also a teacher. So just wanted to say that for Dr. Washington.
Yeah.
We get a lot of, we really enjoyed your interview. Next, I'd like to introduce my friend and collaborator, Danielle L. Littlefield. Also, she's an Afro-Mississippian. She hails from Memphis and from Mississippi. Wonderful, brilliant writer and editor. Is a professor, associate professor at Russ College, a historic Black college in Holly Springs, Mississippi, home of Ida B. Wells. Is where she graduated, of course. So yes, great history. Yes. Danielle's also co-editing the special HBCU issue with me. So it's been wonderful, and is a fine writer. And we'll have new work coming out this fall. So Danielle, say hey.
Welcome you all. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the GoPro Radio Revolutionary Party. We hope to see you again beyond this interview. I love speculative fiction, sci-fi. I mean, that's all me. I was the dude that went to the comic book store. Tyona could tell you. That's where I spent every dime I ever got as a young person. Allowance, whatever. It was at the comic book store. The comic book guy was sick of me. So I always love fantasy, and your work really. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know how you feel. It's in the vein to me. I think of Octavia Butler. I think of Sophia Stewart. Your work is like that good, and I think that people and tell me your thoughts on this. Especially in the Black community, for some reason, I think there is this. I don't kind of like relaxed position when it comes to sci-fi. Do you think that has to do with like our personal narrative and science fiction? I want to get your thoughts on that.
When I was coming up, and mind you, I'm a kid of the 70s and the 80s. I probably felt that way. I felt like it, but then as a culture, it wasn't that cool to be a nerd, right? Daniel has a theory that he could talk about. He feels like Black people was what made nerddom cool. Black nerds is what set it really off. So you have to talk with Daniel about that. And I think that's wonderful because I would agree with that. I hadn't thought about it that way. But when I got to be older, I realized, first of all, we love horror movies. We were watching all the sci-fi stuff. We were watching Flash Gordon. We are, we're like completely the Black people that I knew love science fiction, and in my case, in my family, they were reading it, but they were all in some form or fashion, they were consuming it. And they also recognized a connection to some of the stories to our experiences, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like being Black in America is a science fictional experience in a lot of ways, It is also, as some of the great, our great horror writers, Tanana Review and Jordan Peele and others have shown us, Stephen Barnes, it is also can be a horrific experience. It's horror, right? So if you watch Lovecraft Country and you saw all of those Black history or American history Easter eggs throughout every episode, you already know that you don't even have to make up anything to get to some of that that terrifying, darker history. But yeah, so for me, it's been really gratifying over the past 2 decades to see mainstream culture embrace science fiction so much, so that it becomes almost like it's rare to find someone who doesn't like science fiction. They are streaming all the shows. They are, writing their own episodes orally or talking about what should have happened or what should have happened. It's just a part of our culture right now in the 21st century. So for us to be publishing our own independent comics or being a part of the larger, the larger brands like Marvel and DC, for so many people to have independent films coming out and TV shows and just all these great stories. It's just like a a great experience. Could have been happening all along. I'll say that.
Yeah. You know, matter of fact, speaking of how happening all along, tell us a little bit about, you know, your journey of being a speculative fiction writer. Like, I guess it started with reading. Take us on a little journey of, you know, how, you know, you not only became a writer, but then this publisher, and, you know,
Okay, so I'll just try to give you a quick version.
Memphis on the map.
All right, so Memphis has been on the map for decades because we're the crossroads of everything you could say is fly about America. I'm just gonna say that. Okay. So Memphis is the crossroads. Mississippi is the memory of America. So you can't go anywhere. You can't go to jazz, you can't go to blues, you can't go to gospel. The first gospels were arranged by Miss Lucy Campbell right here in Memphis. You got to go to Beale Street for W.C. Handy. You got to go to Stax for my cousin Isaac Hayes.
I know. After this, Sheree,
you got to do it up. I'm just gonna get the love to Memphis.
I know. After that, the Chamber of Commerce needs to write you a check.
You most definitely need to come to Memphis after we shut down this COVID because it's gonna be lit.
I'm gonna be there. You will see me in the play.
Yeah, but
tell us about the journey.
But the journey starts here. And if you come to Memphis, you've ever been here, whether you're at a gas station or anywhere else, you'll know that Memphis is full of storytellers.
Okay.
Great storytellers. They can take something mundane and simple and entertain you because just the way that we tell stories. So I grew up with a family in North Memphis, a community called Klondike, where, you know, people were very great storytellers. And I was one of those old soul kids that was constantly listening to adult conversations because I was quiet and sometimes very, very much not noticeable, right? So I'm listening to them tell history stories, scary things that I probably should have been listening to about what happened to them before they came to Memphis, when they were in Fayette County and other places, or Sunflower County in Ruralville, Mississippi. And I began to connect actual, you know, historic, like lived experiences with the things I was learning in school. Okay. So I also understood the power of storytelling from the way that they told stories, and sometimes the funny stories that you wish they would stop telling about you and the family. You know what I mean? So I was always writing. It was my place. Being on the page was important. I had great teachers along the way who recognized that gift and didn't try to squash that in me, who allowed me to be my outsider self. Comfortably, I will say. And that's a rare gift for a young person, particularly a plain Black girl, to be able to be perfectly validated in whatever that's weird and off about her. So I appreciated that. I was really good at it and I kept going. I found that even when I was given a regular assignment, I was going to bend it into a Twilight Zone type situation because that's just the way my imagination went. I didn't really start when I went to college. I didn't take a lot of English classes because in high school the curriculum back then was so very much white oriented, right? And I just knew I didn't want to sit up in another class and learn about another white male icon. Like I was like, let me learn about some Black people if I got to pay 20-some thousand a year to get up out of this school. So I'm gonna learn some Black history, I'm gonna learn some Black stories, and I'm gonna learn how to research. And so that's what I did. I started, stopped reading science fiction as much and started reading Alice Walker, Toni Morrison, Shirley Ann Williams, Margaret Walker, Gail Jones. I could just go on and on. And I took one great literature class. It was literature and slavery, which I was like, what we gonna do? What we gonna read? You know what I mean? And I ended up being introduced to Octavia Butler's, her novel, Kindred. And I didn't even know that Black women were writing science fiction. I didn't know. And I knew Samuel Delany was writing, but I didn't know he was Black. I knew he was gay, but I didn't know he was Black. So here I am, I'm being presented with Kindred, a novel about a sister who gets pulled back to the ancestral plantation of the past. And she thinks she's gonna be like a liberation, you know, Black power and free the people and, you know, Underground Railroad, bring them on back to freedom. And she get that first whip, which
it's like,
and then she was like, hold up.
Wait a minute.
She's a little more complicated and nuanced. At first I have to say, I didn't like the novel. Not because I didn't think it was well written, I was so angry with Dana half the time. I just felt like she was just too dingy. I was like, come on, Dana, I'm gonna need you to bring some awareness with you. But I love the fact that Octavia did it because it got me engaged and really invested in what happened to that character. Yeah. And I rooted for her and I wanted her to make it. I wanted her to whoop up on Rufus and get up out of there. And I also understood by the end of that novel that it takes a cost, that this history takes a cost out of us. And there are no easy choices, right? And I thought, because it was 90s when I was reading this, and that I was in the whole like Fear of a Black Planet, and we're wearing our African medallion, outfits and our prayer cloths as scarves and kofis, and all that. And I thought that I was more militant, right? Than I actually would have been had that been me, right? You think you're gonna do more, you realize the actual constraints on our ancestors, and how powerful they were, and how subversive they had to be, and how clever they had to be just to survive and to get what we have gotten now, all these generations later, because they were actively being attacked and their culture was actively being diluted. They were trying to take it from them, and they maintained it. So what we have today is because they were geniuses then. And so that is the book that helped me not only recognize and appreciate the history that I was studying, because that was my major, but also to realize that I had another path in life. So out of that experience, Tylen, I sold everything I had, got rid of everything. Come on, get this stuff, babies. I'm getting out of here. And I rolled out of Memphis on a train.
Wow.
Chicago, Amtrak, Spirit of New Orleans, I think, Spirit of Orleans. Went to Chicago, stayed there half a day, made it on to New York, into my new life. Roommate that I met at the Schomburg Center on the previous trip. And already had a job lined up because I had two jobs. I was working at a bookstore, science fiction bookstore, and being an editorial floater at Random House, which is one of the major Big Five publishers. How do I do it? A good friend of mine gave me a copy in Memphis because we both worked at a bookstore, a Black-owned bookstore, Gallery 350 on Main Street, that had Black Enterprise on the cover. And on the cover of it, there were all these sisters, that wonderful corporate America, we did it. Photograph that they do, like you're in a band, and they had all created an imprint, One World Books. This is the imprint that now publishes Ta-Nehisi Coates. They started it then, these sisters, 5 women. And I had written a letter to them when I was a student representative at the National Civil Rights Museum and said, I want a job. I want to edit. I want to be a writer. I know I got to work. I know I got to hustle. And if I got to work and hustle, let me do it in publishing. So I can understand what it means to publish a book.
Wow. And,
I just got blessed from that.
Wow. Let me ask you, I mean, because you've done a lot and you're doing a lot. I mean, what gets you going? What inspires you today? I mean, what's your muse? I mean.
Oh, what's my muse? Music is my muse. My friends are my muse. Right now, they don't know it, but Danian and Danielle are muses to me. I bounce off a lot of ideals. I think it's important to be able to speak your vision, no matter how amazing or ridiculous it is, no matter how impossible it seems. You need to have good people who encourage you, who support you, who are optimists. Because I'm not always an optimist. I know it doesn't sound like it. I packed up everything, took myself and my child from Memphis to New York, where I had no family, I might add.
That's really bold.
To do it.
You boldly went where no one.
Sometimes you got to get on down, right?
You did it.
You got your one shot.
So let's hear from Daniel. Let's hear from your compadres here.
Yeah, Daniel.
Let's talk about their projects, and then I want to talk to you about what you're working on, and then we're gonna have a fun question to ask all three of you. Okay, so Danielle, let's see, Danielle Littlefield. How are you? Am I saying it right? Is it Daniel or Danielle?
Danielle.
Danielle, how are you? Welcome to the GoPro Radio Revolutionary Party. Tell us.
I am great.
And some of the work that you're doing now, and what we look out for.
Right now, I am working on a fiction piece that is a speculative fiction piece, kind of also mixed with myth building. That's about a water goddess in Mississippi called Mississippi Medusa. So hopefully everyone will be able to read that soon. I have some other projects that I'm doing in Mississippi around oral history. I'm a professor at Rusk College in Holly Springs. And so we have a collective there called Earthseed that is named after the religion in Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower. And we'll be doing some projects this summer out in Mississippi. I'm also working on a Southern vampire story called Communion. But that one is a slightly longer project and probably won't be out until later this year toward Halloween.
Wow. Okay. Well, we definitely I want you to promise to come back and tell us here at Go Pro Radio what you're working on, so we can get it out to the people. Okay. Let's speak to your other comrade here on the line. Is he here? Hold on. Let me just scroll over. Make sure he's unmuted.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Hey, how's
I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Every day above ground is a good day. Tell us a little about what it is that you're working on and where we can find it.
Okay. Well, right now I'm working on a novel, Boy with the Golden Arm, and there's a excerpt from it published in Fireside Fiction. So you can go to firesidefiction.com and read it. It's also in print form as well, but you definitely can go to fireside.com and read it. And my novel, Boy with the Golden Arm, it's like a hip hop fantasy. So it's set in a dystopian sort of near future where music has kind of become a way for people to just make it from day to day. So it's sort of society has broken down and people kind of use art to express themselves, to do magic, just to live pretty much, because it's a world where art has kind of been, artistic expression has been outlawed. So people still engage in it, right? But just to live, just like the way that art kind of enlivens us, right? And it doesn't matter whether we're creating art or enjoying it, and it can just break down from somebody listening to a song when you feel sad,
right? Right.
Or there have been times when I listen to when I'm tired and I listen to a song and I get energy from it, I can go do something. Okay. So I've just taken that concept and kind of just actualizing it and putting a little fantasy to it. And because I grew up I love fantasy and I grew up reading comics as well. So I'm also in the Black Panther anthology. So I got a story in there called Of Rites and Passage. And my story is a little different because it's not about it's not about T'Challa. It's about a different Wakandan king from around around the 1700s, 1776, around the time the American Revolution. And this Wakandan king comes to America during that time to deal with some things. And so he has encounters with these planters, these slave owners, and they have this battle. And so it's I was actually surprised that that they took this story, because it kind of, I was really surprised, but yeah, they took it.
Tell me about it. I mean, I want to check it out now.
Yeah, it's in there. So yeah.
How far do you think we are as in terms of science fiction? And you mentioned in the story is the dystopian where they're canceling kind of art and culture and art and stuff like that. And I kind of see, in a sense, with this culture right now, it's it's a lens in a way where everybody's I can kind of understand it. But do you think that and we're moving towards a society that is going to be doing a lot more censoring?
Well, yeah, I think definitely a society that's we're getting closer and closer to like that that rearranging of the narrative, right? Because like there's so much power in that, and especially like with the way the media is, television, social media, right? You definitely can like control a person's reality through what they see, through the information they get.
Yeah.
So I definitely like, I think that's already like, to be honest, I think that's been happening for a while.
Okay. Well, I have a very special. Jacqueline Banner came up with a really good question. She's out in LA, and she wanted me to ask this question to all three of you. By the way, she's purchased your books. Sheree, she was here last week. She thought you were going to be on last week, and it was just my bad. And so she's here now. And the question is, and really, all three of you, I would like to get your answers on this. But Sheree, you can go first. Who do you think you were in a past life?
Oh, I've often thought about that because people would tell me stories from childhood about weird things, and they're just like, "You've been here before." So I'm like, if I've been here before, I wonder who I was. I will say I definitely wasn't rich. I think I might have had a tough journey last time because I feel super blessed this time around. If that makes any sense, I feel like I've been inordinately blessed in terms of the family that I have chosen to be a part of, who I was born into. They gave me ridiculous gifts that I am still grateful for, and in invisible ways that are still blessing me. So I just feel like if you, I mean, a long time ago I had the great fortune to be able to visit India and go to the Ganges River, and that's a very sacred journey. If you make it to the Ganges River, and they have certain beliefs about that river, and if you're going to be coming back, it's because you have a lesson that you need to learn, and once you've finished your cycles, you can cross over into nirvana, or you can cross over into a place of peace.
Wow.
And so I feel like whatever happened in the other life, I must have been nooking and bucking or something. Because this has been, not as without its challenges, but I really I feel like the universe has put all the wonderful people right near me when I didn't even, before I could even ask for them, here they are.
Right.
So that has, so I just think maybe I'm probably on my way up out of this joint. I'm probably on number 5.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask the same question to Danian and then Danielle.
I think like in a former life, I know I probably was like I would like to think that I was somebody like maybe Imhotep or someone, but I probably was like Imhotep's like assistant or student. I feel like whatever I was doing, like I may have been like at an ancient like library, like in Egypt, I might have been a librarian. I feel like whatever I was doing, I was around, like I was gravitated towards like knowledge and learning, but also like just like sharing knowledge with people and exchanging information.
Wow, that's awesome. And last but definitely not least, Danielle.
Okay, we can't hear you, Danielle. Okay.
Hi.
I think first, I definitely must have been a man. I'm definitely going to say that because even as a child, I felt I think very entitled to kind of explore and go out and just want to see the world, kind of get into trouble, but I wasn't allowed to do that. Right, as a young girl, especially in the South. And for some reason, for me, maybe as opposed to some of the other girls that I grew up with, I felt like it was a great injustice. So I'm definitely going to say.
On that note, can I ask you, do you think that's learned behavior, or do you think that all children, all young Black folks like to explore, and it's just kind of like learned behavior that girls, you don't do that, you can't do that? Yeah. What do you think? Do you think it's, or do you think
I think it's absolutely a learned behavior, but I think it's a heavily enforced behavior. I think in my experience, particularly in the South, it's highly enforced because it doesn't really come naturally. I think a lot of young girls, and I always say this after school, like I wanted to walk the neighborhood and just kind of see what was going on, pick up sticks and meet people. I don't know, but that's not a thing that little girls are encouraged to do, or even really adult women, to be honest.
Okay.
You know, so I'm going to say perhaps I was a man.
Okay, all right, you were a man. All right, well, you know what? Time really does fly when you're having a good time. You know, I please, guys, I gotta have you back, but we have 2 minutes that I like to open up. If you guys can be really concise and really quick, if you have any questions or any comments. By the way, they've provided all of their information where you can link up. Please support. I mean, trust me, I think knowledge and information and support in Black folks and Black writers in particular is a gift that keeps on giving. It's something that we should be obligated to do. But all the information is on the side, so you don't have to ask any questions about where you can get their stuff because it's in the comment. But if you have a question real quick, or maybe we can get 2 in based on how quick someone wants to, just unmute yourselves if you have a question.
What is the next step for each of them?
My next step is every single month I'm editing the magazine of fantasy and science fiction. So I would appreciate your readership. If you could check it out, you can get it in, I think your local, like your bookstores. It's in the magazine sections, wherever magazines are sold. You can go online. I put the link in there. I'm trying to do some historic stuff, have the most people of color ever, and their 72-year history published. And I think that will be achieved next month, actually. Danian has an original story that will be in that new issue. So you got an exclusive release right there.
All right, thank you.
We have an anthology coming out called Trouble the Waters. It's coming out in October. And of course, the HBCU issue.
Wow. And anyone else? We got a few seconds. Okay. Nita, you have your hands up. Yeah, so your hand raised.
Yes, I was wondering, what advice would you give to somebody who feels that they have a story to tell, but struggling to put that on paper? How do you start that? I just want to say I'm a New Yorker, but I lived in Memphis also for a couple of years. And Memphis is a wonderful place. I enjoyed it completely.
Thank you. And I miss New York, so you're going to see me soon. I would say to record it. If your phone has a voice memo function, tell that story like you tell it to a dear friend. Tell it as naturally as, don't try to be anything. Just tell it the way you would tell your friend, and put it in your phone and record it. Say the date and go from there. And then keep them so that you can have it and write those down later.
Great advice. Stephanie's going to stick around a little bit, guys. So if you have other questions you'd like to ask her, please put it in the chat. Use that chat, guys. Stay connected, stay empowered. But we have to keep things going. By the way, Sheree, please hang out because the real star of the whole show is about to come on. She is a 13-year-old prodigy. She comes up with these incredible games. I don't even know the answers. I'll tell you, she is just brilliant. She's a genius. And matter of fact, now, not even a moment. Now we're going to introduce, in the interest of time, Lulu and her games. Lulu, are you there? I'm going to give you control now so that you could introduce your game and tell everybody about it and what the rules are. Okay, you can share. All right. So you can share. Everyone, people who already knows Lulu. She's hilarious. She's brilliant. And she's fun and funny. And she has this awesome game for us tonight. Lulu.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, business, talent, and or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 646-415-0990 or go to www.goproradio.com. That's www.goproradio.com. You'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.